Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to be doing the love reading for the month of July and for the sign of Virgo. Alright, we're going to be doing the earth sign of Virgo. And we're going to get right into it, Virgo, and get your two Romance Angel Oracle cards out of the deck. Alright, let's see what's going on for our lovely Virgos for the month of July. Alright, Virgo, your first card is Love Yourself First and Wedding. Wow. Okay, bottom of the deck you have Keep an Open Mind. This just came out actually for a reading. So Love Yourself First and Wedding. Interesting combination, right? Situation involves marriage, right? Self-respect makes you more romantically attractive, right? And then also keep an open mind. So we won't really know what that's all about until we get into your reading. So let's get right into it. I'm going to pull out your 9 cards. What's going on for Virgo? This July period. We want to know in love. Warnings, affirmations. Any kind of signs, energies, things that we need to look out for, dynamics between individuals. Where's Virgo at this July? Show me. Alright, Virgo, let's see. First card out. 5 of Wands, right? So we've got some strife going on, some bickering. 2 of Wands, wanting to move forward, certainly, right? That can indicate wedding. 8 of Cups, wow, all right. And then 8, Major Arcana, Strength. Leo's coming in. Center of the reading, you have King of Wands. 4 of Pentacles, been coming out for almost every single reading. Money factors in all of the readings this month. The Tower. Wow. So 16, the Tower. Ace of Pentacles, there's your opportunity. And the Universe, or the World card. Interesting. So bottom of the deck we have 6 of Pentacles. So 6 of Pentacles certainly talks about being at a point in your life where you're able to provide, you're able to help others. Perhaps your abundance is increased to a certain level where you're able to provide better. Perhaps also this card comes up oftentimes when we engage in charity work, you know, working with the homeless or the poor, the disadvantaged, the most vulnerable in our society, and not in any kind of, you know, in a real kind of sincere, nurturing way. This is when we have a good relationship with money and wealth, in that we understand that what it needs to do for us. We're not too attached to it, yet we are disciplined enough to hold on to it. This is a nice balanced energy, certainly when it comes to abundance and finances, and certainly it has indicated in a desire to use your money for good, right? So love yourself first, though, because 5 of Wands is the first one coming out. So there's some strife going on. There's some bickerings, you know. There's some... 5 is the number for power struggle. So 5 of Wands talks about having a power struggle with somebody, right? Somebody feels like a lot of one-upmanship. This is the kind of where you're constantly, you know, you might be interacting with 1 or 2 or a group of people, and it's like the dynamic is just a little bit off. This can also be when people are coming at you with a lot of kind of negativity. It could be that every time you make a step forward, right, they kind of want to come and combat that. They want to test you. This is a lot of testing energy too. You know, when somebody's always coming at your neck, right? They're always coming for you, always testing to see how far they can push your boundaries, how far they can push you, you know. You know, these are young men, actually, in the image. If you look closely, they're young men kind of battering each other with wands. So it's not like they're drawing blood or anything, but this is a very immature energy, right? This is a real kind of young, immature, kind of rough energy as well, right? And this could be something that's going on around you. could be on in your love life. But this is very much because of the number of individuals, right? Usually this indicates more than just you and your person. This can often indicate you, your person, and friends around you, right? But usually it for me, when I feel this energy, it's usually that you have a certain circle of individuals around you who are constantly kind of coming at you, right? They're constantly coming at you. And it's like, for as much as you don't want to be in this kind of energy, you don't want to fight, they come at you and they kind of draw you in, right? And it's usually, and I feel that it's usually a group. It's a group dynamic. It could be a social dynamic, a friendship dynamic, right? I often don't find that this is necessarily something going on just with you and your partner, between you and your partner, right? This is normally like a very negative frenemy type of energy, right? For those of you out there who actually have frenemies, which is like appalling to me actually, because it's like, I've heard that term once and I was like, wow, why would somebody ever want to, like, be friends or put energy into that kind of relationship? It's so toxic at its base, right? So, it could be that kind of thing, and I'm not saying that you're into that, but it could be that you're friends with people who kind of have that energy. You may not have yet decided to turn your back on them. However, that's coming. The desire to turn your back on them is certainly coming. I see it here with the Eight of Cups looking ahead, but here certainly with Two of Wands, you're looking at yourself in terms of, hang on a minute, how do I see myself and how I fit into the world? You have the world in your hands, the globe. So, it indicates the world being your oyster, the world being open to all kinds of possibilities, but it's you who has to decide what your next step is. What's your next step? What's the next path? What's the next stop on your path, right? It's up to you to decide how you fit in. You've had the inspiration. It's come in with the Ace of Wands. Now with the Two of Wands, it's time to take that first step. It's time to sow that first seed. It's time to step out in the world and start to work towards your goals, right? And part of that is moving away from power struggles. Here we have Eight of Cups, and so of course you're deciding as well to turn your back on relationships that cross boundaries. 8 is the number for boundaries, setting up boundaries, also for understanding our weaknesses and our strengths. Right after it coming is the 8 in the major arcana, which is strength, the Leo card, right? This is strengths and weaknesses personified. Knowing your strengths and weaknesses and understanding them and working towards your strengths, right? And managing your weaknesses, right? That is what is all inherent in this major arcana card anyway, right? So here we find that in relationships with the Eight of Cups, we find that we decide to turn our back on the types of relationships that don't suit us, that aren't for us, that play to our weaknesses and not our strengths. We decide now to put up boundaries. We decide to put up, we have standards now. We have criteria now, right? That people need to fulfill, individuals or relationships need to fulfill a certain set of standards now for you in order for you to engage. You understand your worth, and you realize that boundaries are necessary for healthy relationships. And so you're no longer going to entertain relationships that don't respect your boundaries, certainly, right? And there's wisdom in that, because he's moving along with the shroud, with the red shroud, red being the color of wisdom, right? So it's like he's walking with wisdom and shrouded in wisdom. And this individual understands that, to build a good relationship, a relationship that is truly positive and harmonious with them, they must know themselves and know their own weaknesses and strengths in relationship. What kind of people, like if an example is if you all know that a certain type of person, right, you may be attracted to him, like a really wild, adventurous person, right? You may be attracted initially to that person, to that type of person, right? But perhaps oftentimes some of those people, when you get involved with them, it goes too far, right? It goes too far, and you end up in scenarios or situations that you didn't want to be in. Situations that have caused you turmoil and trouble, right? And tribulations. And so understanding that about yourself, understanding that you have this attraction for a certain type of person, and then also being strong enough to put certain criteria and boundaries in place so that you don't succumb to that type of character simply because you're attracted to them. That's all about eight, and that's all about like um understanding yourself. That's all very Leo. That's all about understanding where you're weak and understanding where you're strong and playing to that and adjusting for that, so that when you get involved with relationships, you don't get hurt. You're not a victim, right? I mean, and that takes a lot of work, right? Because you have to go inside yourself. You have to admit certain things about yourself that you may not want to admit. But in so doing, you realize where the boundaries are and where to put them in place. And you get better relationships for you coming in. And here we go with Leo, right? So you begin to understand, because now you're going to also start to feel a lot more self-confidence coming in. You're going to feel your self-esteem increasing, right? As a result of these decisions that you've made, right, you're going to naturally feel good about the fact that you've already made those decisions. Love yourself first. It can be, Virgo, that you may have come from a period where you really haven't been taking care of yourself in certain ways, right? And loving yourself in certain ways. And so, like I say, this is, just as I explained this example a minute ago, that is a form of self-love, because ultimately it leads you to better relationships for you. And so understanding that is coming one step closer to this kind of embodying the eight, the major arcana 8, or Leo energy, which is when you're in complete harmony with that kind of, with that side of yourself, that passionate animalistic side, that side that can get you in trouble, right? You understand where your weaknesses are. You understand where you're strong. You understand testing your limits as well. Eight and Strength card is about testing your limits, knowing exactly how strong you really are, right? So it's all about really going inside and really understanding a lot about yourself, going into areas that may be a little bit scary for you, right? But ultimately you come out of it much, much stronger, because you know exactly what your limits are, how far you can go. You may even surprise yourself at how strong you are, Virgo. And all of this is about loving yourself, certainly. King of Wands, so someone's got their eye on you, and this could be your person or your mate, right? King of Wands, they're a very passionate individual, right? I believe this is someone in your life, right? And but they're very ambitious. They're very very fiery. This person is a natural leader. People are very attracted to them. They're naturally kind of draw people in, right? You're in love. I think you're in love with this person. I think this is your person. It doesn't have to be a man. It could be a woman, but they have this kind of very, very commanding energy. The salamander is down at the bottom, also symbol of fire and enlightenment, right? So he understands a lot. He understands spirituality. He understands mysticism. This individual, he's well-rounded in that way, right? He's not the King of Pentacles necessarily, like who's the industrious man, the builder of companies, and but this is King of Wands. He's the one who has ambitions in terms of being innovative, being new, being fresh, going to places where no one's gone before, trying new things. Very adventurous, quite a unique individual, right? And so this person is someone that is in your life, and I think you care a lot about them. They care about you. I think this person, certainly for those of you who are involved and who resonate with this reading, this person signifies your other person, your other half. And right now, it seems to be there's some worry about money. Could be that you two are working towards a marriage, or maybe coming together in some kind of way. It could be that you may have you may have gone through a rocky period in your relationship, right? And now you're coming out of it. You're getting stronger, and so they're seeing you a little bit differently now. Also, it could be that some of this energy could be what happened around you, right? So, for instance, with this energy being at the top, it's kind of like starts off with this. So it could be that whatever was surrounding you, whatever social circle, a group of friends, or whatever that is, you know, if you're involved in a couple, there was a lot of angst, a lot of like negativity, right? And it may have impacted your relationship, right? And so you doing some of this kind of, these could have been your friends as well that were impacting your relationship, because it's very much here, it seems like you're kind of decide to turn away from that and to turn towards more your future. You start to put boundaries in place for relationships. These relationships don't only have to be romantic. These can be friendships, any kind of relationships. Cups are about emotions. So this is also putting boundaries in place with individuals and friends and family members that you allow in your life, and that may you know, that without those boundaries, having them in your life can be a destructive force, you know. And showing all of this strength, perhaps for those of you who may have been having trouble in your relationships, showing all the strength has your other person now looking at you. Right now they're looking at you again. They're looking at, you know, it may have been a little bit rocky between the two of you, but you kind of pulled yourself together. You loved yourself, and now it almost seems as though things are becoming a bit more harmonious again. Right now, if this is somebody who is not involved, right, going through all these steps certainly is bringing someone in. It's certainly bringing someone in who's suddenly paying attention to you. So this could, if this is not your mate already, this could certainly be that you're now piquing the attention of someone like a King of Wands, because you have done all of this kind of work, right? You have started to put up boundaries and kind of lift yourself up in terms of your expectations of yourself, which has you vibrating higher on all levels, right? But there is a concern about money coming in either scenario. Now, if you're with somebody, it could be that you two right now are worried about having enough stability, enough finances to get married. Perhaps this is why you need to keep an open mind. There are things happening that are leading you to a tower moment. So everything, there's a huge upset coming. However, right after it comes the Ace of Pentacles. So that's why I think you have keep an open mind going on here, because it could be, for instance, you guys may have gotten to a point where you want to move forward with your relationship, you want to get married, but it just seems as though you can't get there. You're worried about finances. Something is going on with that in terms of you feeling like you guys are stable enough to actually get married. Maybe you can't afford it, but something happens, and something happens to your livelihood within your environment that at first perhaps may seem very destructive, right? And it may seem quite traumatic, but out of it comes a golden opportunity for you guys. Huge opportunity for you guys. And it's like as if everything turns around and you get what you desire. You guys end up on your feet. You land completely on your feet, but you have to keep an open mind during this process. And I think what that means is don't fight it. Right? Don't fight it in the sense that if you see, and if you can resonate with this message, I think you know what I'm talking about, Virgo, but you'll know what I mean, right? It could be a change in job. It could be that you give, you know, even like maybe something, an example could be like, look, you know, you're worrying about money right here and you don't have enough, you're holding on, you're waiting, you know, you're waiting to get married, and all of a sudden, bang, something happens like the job closes, or one of you maybe loses a job, or something happens to your environment where you suddenly have to move, and it seems as though like, oh my God, this is the worst timing for this, right? But as a result of this, what happens, you end up meeting someone who not only gives you a job, but is able to maybe even help you have a free wedding or give you a venue for a wedding. You may end up coming out of this getting a job in a place that specializes in throwing weddings, or in a venue that hosts weddings, and you become close friends with the boss, and he says, hey, look, I know you've been through this tough time. I know you went through this kind of tower moment. I'll let you have the venue for your wedding so that you can get. So you see what I'm saying? It's like if you could just hang in there, keep an open mind. You know, Virgo, you're very tenacious. You're very industrious. You know, whatever this seeming catastrophe is here with this Tower card, there's definitely something good that's going to come out of it. And you're going to get what you want. You're going to get what you desire. You're going to be able to move forward with your relationship. You're certainly going to come back out on top in terms of your finances, because this opportunity here is much bigger than where you're at here. Give me some insight on our lovely Virgos for this reading. Show me. Too many cards coming out. Yeah, it's quite interesting how it goes. This is quite, I really feel this is very much for you guys who are in a relationship right now, and it's just been kind of tenuous. You've been going through some rough patches. You guys have issues with money, you know, but you really love each other. You're coming back together. Like I said, your King of Wands is looking at you again. Here we go, Three of Wands coming out. Eight of Swords, Three of Discs. There's increased works. There's Leo coming out on Leo. Beautiful. Fool, new beginnings. Like I said, a death is coming out on this. So this is going to change the scenario. That's exactly what I meant. 20 Aeon, which is judgment. Normally 3 of Swords, and we have Knight of Wands. Wow, beautiful. So at the bottom of the deck, we have the Princess of Discs. She talks about understanding what it takes when you start new. Certainly when you start a garden from scratch. You know, she understands how much labor it takes to get something going. All right, and she's there. She's ready to protect, you know, her seed. She's ready to start something new. She's ready physically to put the labor in. So let's clarify. 3 of Wands here. Virtue, yeah, you know, you're kind of done. You want to move away from this 5 of Wands energy, this power play energy. You want to move forward with virtuous feelings. Sun and Aries, right? So moving forward creatively with people who are like-minded, with like-minded creative souls. You don't feel like you have anything in common with the social group anymore. I don't think that you even enjoy their company. Never mind the fighting and the bickering. These people just aren't on your level anymore. And I think you realize it's time to get closer to an environment or a place where people are much more like yourself, you know. And out of this is because you love yourself more. Your esteem is increasing. So you don't have to surround yourself with people that you don't even really like and that you know don't really like you. 8 of Swords is coming in as interference over that 2 of Wands. The 8 of Swords talks about being careful with... 8 of Swords is like when you kind of alienate yourself. Be careful with being too staunch or holding on to ideas that no longer suit you. You know, holding on to rigid thinking. You know, these type of things will interfere with your progress, with your forward motion. You know, 8 of Swords also talks about limitations, right? Like I say, 8 is the number for boundaries and limitations. So 8 of Swords is oftentimes when you limit yourself by the rigidity of your thinking, by holding on to archaic ideas or holding on to, you know, ideas that really have no basis in fact, that you don't have any evidence, you know, any evidence to prove your position. You know, it just, you know, your opinion is just alienating you from others. It's like the person who, you know, you talk to in the office and they think they know everything and you can never, your opinion never matters. And they're always wrong. Right? And so people get sick of talking to them, right? And so then they're alienated from everyone. Nobody wants to talk to them. And then they walk around and they bitch and complain that nobody wants to talk to them because they're so because they're too strong, or they have too strong of a character, or people can't handle what they say. When the truth of the matter is that nobody wants to be bothered with them because they've alienated everyone, making it impossible to communicate with them. Swords is the suit for communication. And so when you put up limitations, right, when you put up restrictions in thinking and being able to communicate, which limits your ability to communicate properly with others, right, you become stuck. You become the victim. 8 of Swords is also the victim card. So you're just sick of dealing with that kind of energy. Certainly someone in your life has been playing the victim with you, right? And you're not there for it anymore, right? You're not there for it. You understand yourself that part of where you've been stuck in life can be as well, that maybe for a little while you may have been playing the victim too, but you're no longer doing that. You understand that it's up to you, right? You understand that you have everything you need. Could be also that maybe this was just something that you were taught for a long time, and it's only now that you're at a part in your life, evolution in your life, stage in your life, where you realize, no, you know, you don't have to hold on to these rigid ideas that you were raised with, that only serve to separate you and keep you isolated from the rest of the world, because the way you think is so ridiculous, you know, the ideas that you're holding on to, right? And so you're coming out of all of that as a 2 of Wands. Certainly when you're looking forward to your future and how you fit in the world, right? So there's that as well. Three of Pentacles comes out over this. So yeah, works. Right? Starting to get recognition for works, wanting to work with other people, right? And so again, you know, you turn your back on relationships that don't suit you, that are not within your criteria or standard, right? So that you can also begin to move forward with the integrity with your work as well, to focus on your work as well, right? To have time for it, mind, body, and soul. Your energy isn't being split off to these ridiculous kind of chaotic relationships with people or friends that don't serve you. And you're able to work on your future and your career a lot more, manifesting your career. Leo comes out over Leo. What can I say, right? In the Thoth deck, the Leo card is actually 11. In traditional decks, it's 8. But nevertheless, it's the same thing. Lust and strength, they are the same in a way. You know, when you have total strength, you can be lustful for a higher good, right? True strength in your emotions means that you change that kind of lusty, passionate energy into something focused to recreate, you know. The ultimate elevation of lust and passion is having sex to reproduce. You make children, which is like the most amazing thing that we do in the world. But where does that come out of? It comes out of lust. It comes out of sex. It comes out of passion. All of the things that we associate with the devil. And so here we understand in the thought that we understand that as long as we elevate these passions and these desires, we have the strength, we control them for the purposes of working towards a higher good. Everything you do will by nature be towards positivity, towards creating something, towards exalting who you really are. The ultimate expression of yourself, the ultimate expression of your creativity, right? That's what comes out of that using and, you know, being strong enough to use your passion and your lust to be focused towards a higher good or a higher expression of yourself is the Leo card. Fool coming in, right? So you're at a whole new stage in your life. Certainly with this individual. So whether you're involved already, this is a long-term relationship or a new relationship, you and your person are about to start a whole new part of your life. Even if you have been together, it's a whole new segment of that relationship, which could indicate wedding. Yes, you could have been together for quite some time, but now this kind of step towards commitment, which would be a wedding, it's like the Fool taking a whole turn on his path on the tree of life, you know. You know, the Fool always shows up. When the Fool shows up, he represents the Querent being very conscious of his path at the moment. So death is coming in. This kind of worry about money is absolutely going to change. Whatever comes next, it's going to kill death. There's a death of that. So all of this worrying and holding on is absolutely going to change because of this Tower moment. Over this comes Judgment, Aeon. Judgment and Thoth deck. So the Tower moment is also going to allow you to release some guilt, some baggage, to see situations for what they really are, to see your situation, perhaps a relationship in a better light, to see where it really fits in with your life and your path, right? It gives you this whole Tower moment is going to give you a lot of clarity, a lot of understanding about perhaps things that you didn't understand before, maybe dynamics in your relationship, why things have happened the way they've happened. But you're certainly going to let go of a lot of guilt that you may have held on to, and any judgment that you were holding on to of your partner, you're also going to let go of. This opportunity is going to come in, and interestingly enough, you do have Three of Swords here, which can indicate heartache, heartbreak. It could indicate lying or cheating, right? So just take care, right? Just take care with this opportunity. Keep an open mind. Keep your eyes open to everyone around you. It could be that somebody is out there to try to disturb this opportunity, right? Somebody may be, you know, acting quite deviously in the way to hurt, you know, to upset this opportunity. Having a Three of Swords come out over an Ace of Pentacles is certainly a warning sign. Okay, so just take care. Could be, like I say, somebody in this group up here who doesn't like to see you move on. Knight of Wands is coming out over the world. So, yeah, you move forward with a lot of momentum. Once this is all dealt with, you guys move forward with a huge amount of momentum. And you're well and truly on your next step, on your next path. I want to say on the next segment of your path together as a couple. All right. You guys, both of you are just, woof, you know. There's your Knight, King of Wands here. Here he's moving forward. He's ready to go, and you're dancing right alongside him. You guys are ready to move forward together. You're in a very good spot. You're exactly where you need to be on your path. Certainly with the world showing up, you know, that always indicates seeing your path, seeing your whole path, and understanding where you fit into it, and understanding that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. So it feels very good. However, none of that will come after this Tower moment, which I know is quite scary, certainly with this death coming in, because everything's going to change. But trust me, you're going to come out the other side, and it's going to be quite glorious. All right, Virgo, I'm going to call it. We're at 30 minutes, so yeah, not too long. This is a great reading. I hope it resonated, or parts of it resonated with you. Sound off below in the comments. Let me know how you feel about the reading, if you have questions, or if you'd like me to look into some deeper issues maybe for the collective or the tribe. If you want to schedule a private reading, just go to the link at the bottom of your screen. But for right now, I'm just going to tell you, Virgo, I love you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful July. Bye-bye.